A while ago, on my Twitter, I asked people if they would be interested to see a Tugs Collection video showing all the models I have made, as well as Tugs models made for me by Arlo's trains for my series Tugs Tales. And the response was very positive, so here it is. Like I stated, this is mainly focused on models made by myself, as well as Arlo's trains, but I will also be showing off some official Tugs merch I've collected over the years. So let's start off with the first ever Tugs model I ever made, Billy Shoepack. Billy Shoepack was the first Tugs model I made. I chose Billy first as he's quite simple in many ways, as he's basically just a load of squares and rectangles and doesn't have a complex hull like the other Tugs. He is made out of balsa wood and his hair is blue tack painted orange. Even though he is my first model, I'm still really happy with Billy. He's a bit simplified compared to my latest models, but I still like him. Sunshine. Sunshine was the next model I made. For those who don't know, Sunshine is my favourite Tugs character, and as he has the simplest design out of the Starfleet, he was an obvious next pick. However, as you probably know, that this Sunshine on screen now isn't the original model I made. I remade the original as it was very inaccurate and I was very unhappy with it. The only part of the original model that came over to this one was the stack. I'm much more happy with this model of Sunshine. He is made out of balsa wood, same as my other models, and blue tack for the lining and hat. One of my favourite models, honestly, because, well, it's Sunshine. Lord Stinker. I really wanted to make a barge for my models to tow, so I straight away turned to Lord Stinker to be the model to make next. He's a very straightforward model to make, and he has held up quite well. There's a few things I might have done differently if I made him now, but definitely happy with this guy. He was made with balsa wood with blue tack for additional details. Zebedee. Zebedee was next, and Zebedee is also one of my favourite Tugs characters as well, so I really wanted to make him. Like Sunshine, this model has been updated from the original. I redid his hull to make it more smooth, redid the lining and painted his deck grey. Apart from that, everything here is from the original model. He again was made with balsa wood and blue tack for his lining and part of his hat. Barges. Here are the two generic barges I use in my series. Not much to say about these, they just really do their job. They are made out of balsa wood with blue tack for additional details. Definitely want to make a third at some point. Filbert. I've always loved the boys and Tugs, and Filbert is easily one of my favourites, especially because of his scene from the episode Pirate.
Hello boys, how are you?
Definitely happy with this one, but unfortunately he doesn't stand up well on his own, so he has to lean on something to stand up properly. Filbert was made out of blue tack along with balsa wood and cocktail sticks. Puffer. This model's existence is all thanks to Arlo's trains, who designed the smokestack and cowcatcher to work on a TWR Thomas. I love this guy so much, but I'm probably going to give him a repaint before the next episode. I think he's far too bright and a bit of darker grey would suit him better in my opinion. Like I said, this model was made from a Thomas Wooden Railway Thomas, with blue tack used for his extra domes and balsa wood for additional details. He does use 00 scale coal in his bunker, which I know is inaccurate, so that is something I need to fix, but regardless, really like Puffer. Light blue caboose. This is a Thomas Wooden Railway caboose with a repaint, which has aged badly. I'm not a fan of this model anymore, and it's getting phased out of the series, and it's getting replaced by a much nicer caboose made by Arlo's trains, which will be appearing in the next Tugs Tales episode. Two boys. Here are two random boys I made for the series, but ironically I believe they were only seen in the pilot episode. Again, not the biggest fan of these models I've made, to be honest. I don't know, just not been a fan of them. Warrior. Warrior was a very complex model to make at the time, all down to his railings, made out of cocktail sticks, which took forever to make. He is made out of the same materials as the other models, although very happy with Warrior. His lining is a bit too thick, but apart from that, very happy with this guy. Warrior is such a wholesome character to have in my collection. Love you, Warrior. Coast Guard. This one was a very simple model to make, only took 2 days I believe, but here's the Coast Guard. Not a whole lot to say here, but he's another one of my favourite models. He is made out of balsa wood as well as blue tack and cocktail sticks. A worthy addition to my collection. Zip. Zip is another one of my favourite Tugs characters. This is another model I'm really happy with, and it's one of the few models I've finished and haven't spent days nitpicking at after finishing it. 10 cents. Took me a long time to get him right. 10 cents was another model I put off because of the railings, but overall I'm very pleased with this model. This one required a lot more detail than the others, as 10 cents required a lot more painting to make him more accurate, but I think he came out quite good. He's made out of balsa wood, cocktail sticks and blue tack. Grampus. Grampus was a very straightforward build and didn't take very long. I'm really happy with how his eyes and nose turned out. Grampus is made out of balsa wood and blue tack for additional details. Overall, I still really like this guy. Zug. Not much to say on Zug as his process was identical to Zip, but this is another model I still really love to this day and wouldn't have done differently. Zug is made out of balsa wood with blue tack for the additional details like the lining and his hat. Jack the Grappler. Here's Jack. It's a bit of a stretch to call as a custom really, as Jack is really just a Lego grapple painted brown with an added face. I mean, it works, just easily the most simple model in the collection. Little Ditcher. Little Ditcher was a really fun model to make and I'm really pleased with him. Little Ditcher was made mostly using balsa wood with only minimal blue tack used. I used some black string for his crane cable, yet another favourite model of mine. Zev. Zev is so far my only original character I've made for my series Tugs Tales. He shares the same basis as Zip and Zug, and I use my Zip model as a reference when making Zev. Zev is the first model I've weathered, and I'm quite pleased with the result. It's meant to be mud, as Zev doesn't get clean or maintained. Zev has an added crane as well. Zev is missing a lifeboat, which was done on purpose, as he definitely doesn't have a crew or anyone looking after him, so I felt we didn't really need one. Zev is made out of balsa wood with blue tack for his lining and hat. He also uses black string for his crane cable. People have asked on if Zev will return to the series, and I can confirm here that he definitely will in the near future, so keep an eye out for this guy eventually making a reappearance. Really like this character and I can't wait for you all to see what I have planned for him. Fishing boat. This model was a very rushed job, as his role in Zug was meant to go to Big Mickey, but Royal Mail had Big Mickey held captive in their warehouse for a month. We'll talk about that later. So not to delay the episode, I made this fishing boat for the role. For a rush job he ain't bad. The fishing boat is made with balsa wood and blue tack for the lining and a cocktail stick for his flagpole. Frank and Eddie. Frank and Eddie were two models I really wanted to make. I really love their design. Frank and Eddie can hold TWR items, not perfectly, but it works. Frank and Eddie were made out of balsa wood with cocktail sticks as well as blue tack for their hats. Top Hat. Top Hat is someone I've wanted to make for years, but I kept putting him off and off until finally making him. This is another favourite model, he just came out really well in my opinion. Top Hat is made out of balsa wood and blue tack for lining and additional details. Davy Jones. Davy Jones, or more commonly known as the Coast Guard Messenger. This was a random model I really wanted to make as I wanted a smaller project at the time. I couldn't find a good screen grab for his face due to his limited screen time in the show, so I had to make this one out of blue tack, and honestly I don't think it's too bad. Davy Jones is made out of balsa wood and blue tack for additional details. Sally Seaplane. Finally, we get to a female character. Sally Seaplane is another one of my favourite models and it's the most recent one I've completed. I really love her design and I really enjoyed making her. She is made out of solely balsa wood with blue tack only used for her lips. Sally Seaplane's a character I really intend on using a lot in Tugs Tales, so get ready for more Sally Seaplane. I've also made a few buildings from Tugs, so I thought I'd also show them off here. Munitions Warehouse. This is the Munitions Warehouse from the episode Munitions. Not really a lot to say about this as it was very straightforward. This was made out of cardboard and glued together and painted. The Star and Z Stack building. The Star and Z Stack buildings I made at the same time and are again made out of cardboard and glued together and painted. The Star and Z Stack signs are just from the show, which I printed out and glued them on. So that's all the models I've made, but I have loads planned for the future. I very much intend to make the remaining stars and Z stacks. I'm currently working on Zoran at the moment. I know Hercules won the Twitter poll to be made next, but I really need Zoran for an episode I want to make soon, so he's been pushed up the priority list. Hercules will hopefully come after Zoran. As for non-stars and Z stacks, models high on the list to make are Little Owl, Sea Rogue and the Fulton Ferry. Now we're going to take a look at the models my good friend Arlo has made for the series. Big Mickey. Arlo really outdid himself on this model as it is so fabulous. When talking about this model of Big Mickey, it's worth talking about, well, his journey to getting to me. So, as you know, I live in the UK and Arlo lives in America. Now, parcels can usually do this journey in less than 2 weeks. Big Mickey took 6 weeks. Yes, I know, 6 weeks. Big Mickey actually got to the UK in just over a week and landed at Heathrow and then nothing. He didn't move from Heathrow for over 3 to 4 weeks. During this time, Arlo and particularly me were very worried. I was massively freaking out that he'd gotten lost somehow or stolen, as it never made sense to me how he got so delayed. Thankfully he did get out of there and made it to me safely. Shameful service by the Royal Mail, honestly, but anyway, here's the model. So he can spin all the way around, his crane hook can move up and down, he's a completely perfect Big Mickey in my eyes, feels exactly just like a scaled down version of his prop. Definitely a favourite model made by Arlo. Thomas Wood and Railway Tug style wagons. Now these are some Thomas Wood and Railway Tug styled wagons. Arlo made these for me as a surprise Christmas present. These were made to look like rolling stock from the show. Before I was using bog standard Thomas Wood and Railway trucks, which, yeah, didn't look the best. So very grateful to Arlo for making these for me. Definitely makes the series feel a lot more American. To finish off with, let's talk about some of the official bits of Tugs merchandise that I've collected over the years. 1989 Annual. So this is the 1989 Tugs Annual. I'll show you inside. Basically there's 4 mini Tugs stories which are really good, to be honest. I'm probably going to adapt most of these eventually for Tugs Tales. There's also some lovely pictures of the props which have been really helpful when making models. There's also some drawing stuff and other games. I bought this for around £3 off World of Books eBay page. Buzz books. Here are all 4 Tugs Buzz books. We have Kidnapped, Run Aground, Nothing to Declare and Treasure Hunt. These are really fun stories with great illustrations. Run Aground and Treasure Hunt are my favourites as they are more Z-Stat based and they feel more like episodes the show could have made. These 2 I definitely want to adapt for Tugs Tales in the future. Kidnapped and Nothing to Declare most likely not going to be adapted. These again were from World of Books and they were around £3 each. Photo books. Here are all the Tugs photo books I own. Sadly I don't have the Unlucky Tug or the Big Freeze. Here we have Sunshine, Pirate, Trapped, Warrior's Longest Day, High Tide, Ghosts, High Winds and Upriver. Sunshine and High Winds are certainly the most interesting ones as they feature a lot of scenes cut from the episodes. These ironically were the easiest to find and I believe most of these were like £3. I think Pirate and Trapped were more like £7. Upriver was listed up at £56 and no way was I going to pay that. And anyway, I checked back on eBay later that week and they updated the price to be £5. Why they suddenly did that, I don't know, but I jumped at it and I'm very glad I did. These are definitely cool things to own and I would definitely recommend the Sunshine and High Winds photo books in particular. Tugs board game. Now, only had this a few weeks and I actually haven't played this yet, but this is the Tugs board game. I found this on eBay for £25 and well, I had to buy it because it's Tugs and it's a board game. Just waiting for somebody who's willing to play it with me. Well, that's it folks, that's my Tugs collection. I always love talking about Tugs, so it's been really nice to do this video and I hope you all enjoyed this. If this video does well, expect some follow-up collection videos where I'll update you all on new models for the collection, as the collection certainly isn't over. Thank you all for watching and I'll see you in the next video everyone. Bye!